Apologize for that technical glitch. It has been rectified. Once again, we are blessed to have you allow us into your space. This is your new
the launch of Protego Women's Optimal Health.
Uganda and other countries in 2020 signed the Geneva Consensus Declaration that emphasizes promoting women and strengthening families. Countries made commitments like work to improve health thriving for women and girls, stay in solidarity, that there is no international right to abortion, and also strengthen the families. The Institute of Women Health embarked on implementing one of the commitments through making a women's optimal health framework that looks at the woman comprehensively. While launching the framework at State House Entebbe, First Lady Janet Kata Museveni expressed a personal conviction over the big numbers of the uncared for and malnourished children in Uganda.
Uganda produces a lot of food. We still have a good number of our children who suffer from malnutrition. There is something we are not doing. Perhaps we don't reach our communities sufficiently to share the methods that can make a family thrive. So we need to think about what is it that we are not doing. We need to learn to lead. Maybe we are going on with our work every day, but we don't reach those we are supposed to serve, to help, to lift them up, to help, to give them information they lack, to lift up those families.
The framework, dubbed Protego, in Latin meaning protection, is research-based and gives opportunity to countries to share their values and cultures, which information is put together to come up with solutions.
Optimal Health Framework is unique because it values the life of women and girls across their entire lifespan. It respects cultures, tradition, religion, and values. It identifies concepts and interventions with links of 995 sources. It focuses not just on physical health, but optimal health, which includes physical health plus mental, social, intellectual, and spiritual health.
Uganda signed the Women Optimal Health Framework amidst high numbers of teenage pregnancies. The chairperson, UOPA, Sarah Opendi, says the framework will ensure that policies and programs focus on specific needs of women and not only their physical health.
Women have limited control sometimes of their own lives, and they face life-threatening health issues like the maternal mortality, the female genital mutilation, and of course, the most rampant now is the challenge of the child marriages.
State Minister for General Duties, Hajat Hanifa Kawoya, who represented the Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Rotha Cheng, says innovation is a great way to reach out and provide services to people who cannot afford private health care.
We embrace innovation, as Arya said, that can improve data and information collection, prevention, clinical care, training, and research.
Ministers from different countries who represented First Ladies in their countries shared their experiences in handling women's health.
Not be long, effective 1st of March 2024, all Kenyans will be enjoying free services at the primary level of care.
You now want to help Nigerians. For instance, you just get involved in that portal and you see those vulnerable people you want to help. And you can track your money, you can track your help and make sure it goes to the right direction.
The framework is to build resilient health systems that will help absorb the shocks from pandemics and epidemics, and countries will be able to mobilize resources through partnerships. I'm Nafka Farida and Abdunasir Lukoma in Entebbe.
Thank you very much. Now, tourism enthusiasts have called for robust promotion of domestic tourism in the country. The call was made Friday at Media Center during a launch of a 5-part travel series dubbed Wild Heart.
These expeditions are a part of a domestic tourism campaign geared towards promoting the country's tourism sites, different cultures and foods as potential tourism products.
So the new conservation theory is to demystify the wildlife. And how do you demystify the wildlife? You allow people in communities, it's being done very well in South Africa and in many other developed economies, whereby a few people are allowed to breed lions and they breed them in the community setup.
Herbert Byaruhanga, President Uganda Tourism Association, says promoting domestic tourism requires concerted efforts.
I really encourage many Ugandans, get your cameras, get good phones, clean the lenses, make sure the lenses are clean, take good photos, make sure you take very nice photos and share them and tell the people, look, this country is very beautiful.
Uganda is so beautiful. We have very many national parks, very many animals around, a lot to see. Before you get onto that plane, let's dive into that wilderness in Uganda.
Uganda currently has 11 national parks distributed in various parts of the country. These parks have a wide range of species and mammals. However, Wilson Kajwenje, Member of Parliament for Nyabushozi County in Chiruhura District, says little is known about these parks.
And each one of you can tell a story of an enclave where you come from. Certainly, Kidepo National Park has a unique story. Certainly, Murchison Falls has a unique story. Certainly, Kadam, the north, has a unique story. Lake Mburo National Park too has a story. Whatever is found in other national parks, 11 of them, is found in Lake Mburo National Park. But not everything that is in Lake Mburo National Park is found in other national parks. What is this?
Abel Bismana, the LC5 chairman, Chisoro District, believes government has to invest in the country's tourism infrastructure for domestic tourism to thrive.
We have mentioned very well that tourism, trade and security roads must take priority. And it is really a fashionable slogan in Parliament and elsewhere that is a priority, but is it true?
The tourism sector has for many years placed Uganda among the world's top tourist destinations. The sector was later affected by the negative impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, sporadic attacks from suspected ADF terrorists, and economic sanctions from foreign actors. Diano Oloin-Peters, UBC News.
Still in the area of tourism, the Parliamentary Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry embarked on a fact-finding mission to assess Uganda's tourism sites, focusing on Western Uganda. Now, led by the chairman Mwine Mpaka, the legislators visited the conservation through commercialization and wildlife facility in Butambala district.
During the visit, the MPs were impressed by CTC's conservation efforts, but were dismayed by allegations of sabotage by the Uganda Wildlife Authority, voiced by the facility's director, Thomas Price. CTC, renowned for its ecotourism initiatives and wildlife preservation, houses a diverse range of indigenous and imported species, including jackals, lions, zebras, hyenas, crocodiles and lemurs.
We have 26 lions at the moment. 22 of those are born here at CTC. So from 4, we made 26 in just 1.5 years. Because we brought them 3 years ago, but they only started breeding 1.5 years ago.
And in less than 1.5 years, they have managed to multiply the population to 26, and they are using about $50,000 only in 1.5 years to multiply these lions to 26. So we think this is a cheap option, and we need to restock our lion population.
Thomas Price sees the opportunity to express concerns about UWA's alleged sabotage.
I'm so frustrated. 5 years we've been struggling. I've had hundreds of sleepless nights. I'm scratching my head and even thinking, what do I do? I've submitted, I've reapplied, and it's not moving, no reply, just stuck. We were supposed to import tigers last year. We've done a full risk assessment with NEMA, it was cleared. We've done an animal acquisition plan for them, it was cleared. We've applied for them, they were supposed to come last month. We've paid a deposit for them, they're young cubs like our lions. UWA sends a team here, even the team agrees, the quarantine is okay, you can bring them. No reply.
This prompted reactions from UWA's Executive Director Sam Wanda and the Minister of Tourism Undersecretary Samuel Kakula, both part of the delegation.
We provided him, based on the acquisition plan, a list of animals that he would have. And we agreed that he needs to acquire those ones. I think he went out once to trap and came with a few animals, and now he's going out of what was approved and he's asking for what was not approved.
I want to assure CTC that nobody, including myself, is beyond the institution UWA. All of us are workers and we are bound by procedures.
Acknowledging the investors' grievances and UWA's responses, the legislators pledged to address the issues within 2 weeks, as promised by the committee chairperson, Winnie Mpaka, and echoed by woman MP Businge Harriet from Hoima District.
The ministry also has certain procedures. We need to look at those procedures and then we can take judgment. We need to look at Mr. Price's documents and see where the challenge is and support him.
What is here is that the investor is in place and is actually doing very good work. Because I remember, Honorable Chair, when we went to my children, you made us wake up very early in the morning to see a lion, which you were saying it is there in the branch of the tree, and we are squeezing our eyes. We had all the trackers and everything, and we wanted to please you. We said we had seen, but not to say. So, yes.
Despite the challenges, CTC remains committed to its vision of becoming the largest privately owned conservation facility. To achieve this dream, the facility seeks government support. Dennis Ikoa for UBC News in Butambala District.
Quite interesting there. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has tasked the justice, law and order sectors to ensure capacity building and knowledge acquisition towards handling the emerging new trends of technological crimes to enable Ugandans acquire fair, adequate and timely justice. President Museveni's message was delivered by Vice President Jessica Alupo during the launch of the new lawyer at the Judiciary Headquarters in Kampala. Namamonde Deborah has more.
Justices, judges, magistrates, registrars and members of the Bar Association, among other dignitaries, converged in large numbers at the Judiciary Headquarters in Kampala for the launch of the new lawyer. The new lawyer was held under the theme, A People-Centered Approach to Justice. The function was graced by the Vice President of Uganda, Jessica Alupo, who represented President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. President Museveni applauded the judiciary for its tremendous achievements, among them construction of the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal, and in ensuring that justice is delivered to Ugandans.
I thank the PS, the Secretary to the Judiciary. I know it's not always very easy to handle such a task because it comes with some amount of money. So you must have had your ups and downs, but the good thing is that today we have seen very nice structures. I will go and report to His Excellency the President. I would like therefore to make it very clear that government will continue supporting the judiciary.
President Museveni, however, advised the justice, law and order sector to emphasize trainings and capacity building towards handling technological crimes
arising from technological advancement and globalization of human activities. Such crimes include, but not limited to, the following: money laundering, terrorism financing, trafficking in persons, smuggling in wildlife and wildlife products.
Chief Justice Alfonso Winnie-Dolo cited a reduction in the case backlog in the year 2023, where over 1,000 cases were disposed of. Dolo attributed this to the use of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms in handling cases.
Magistrates grade 1 completed the highest number of cases, 133,191 cases. We have been able to make massive recruitment of judicial officers, especially at the magisterial level. And because of this, we've been able to litter the countryside. Some places where they've never seen judicial officers.
Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, commended the notable achievements by the judiciary, pledging to continue sensitizing the public on the mandate of the judiciary and the justice system.
I do believe that ADR will increasingly become a factor in dispute resolution because it gives us options to settle some, not all, disputes outside the traditional forms of adjudication. Ministry of Justice will then have to house an office for ADR to implement the regulations and also to provide guidelines for ADR practice.
The Attorney General Chiwanuka advised members of the bar to know where to address their concerns rather than disrespecting the judicial decisions.
I'm not saying don't raise the complaints. Let us find the correct fora where to raise these. Professional ethics must be held at all times. This is not only towards the court of law and judicial officers, but the entire public that we serve.
A call for unity and respect among the three arms of government for a better Uganda was also made.
While, Your Excellency, we agree that the President has and is within his power to disagree with the court decision, we appeal that for the purposes of the independence of the judiciary, there shouldn't be any sort of direction from the fountain of honor, His Excellency the President. These letters and interferences erode public confidence in the judiciary, and therefore we call all actors, all arms of government and all citizens to respect judicial independence.
Myself and the Minister of Justice are scratching our heads on how to deal with this problem of integrity in the judicial profession, but we'll be coming to the executive very soon.
Bernardo Wundo, the President of Uganda Law Society, called for respect of the judiciary's independence and court orders by government entities.
The central function that the legal profession must perform is nothing less than the administration of justice. My Lord, we can also not have a people-centered approach to justice if court orders are not respected when they are issued. If resident district commissioners and other entities outside the court system have become appellant courts.
The launch of the new lawyer celebrations was attended by the Chief Justice of South Sudan, Chanris Madut, Emeritus Chief Justices, Bat Katrebe Magunda, and Wako Wambuzi, Emeritus Judges and Justices, among other dignitaries. Rebecca Nantongo, Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Now, President Museveni has extended financial support to 260 roadside market vendors in Luweero district. The business booster package was delivered to the market vendors by officials from State House, led by Princess Nasolo Pauline, a private secretary to the President on Women Affairs. The 260 beneficiaries who operate from Baliche Jusa Checkpoint Market in Luweero along Kampala Good Highway mainly sell fruits, especially pineapples and vegetables, among other food fruits. Prince Nasolo or Princess Nasolo informed the vendors about President Museveni's decision to directly support them financially in order to help them sustain their businesses, thereby stabilizing their household incomes.
Here in November, and we checked on the market vendors on the streets. We usually go to market vendors on the streets who are not able to be in the community, who are not able to have the circles. because they are not organized in circles. So we asked them about the PDM and they said that they had not received anything. Then we asked about the milk. Again, they said they had not received. So His Excellency, the President Jaja, sent them 100,000 per each to increase on their capital on their stores.
Era ngesanyu lyempulira ly'amaanyi okuba nti muzeeyi ampadde kasente emitwalo 10 gigino ngifunye mu buliwo mu cash mazike. Muzeeyi nkwebaza nnyo, nkwebaliza ddala. Nze essanyu lyempulira muzeeyi lya nsusso. Muzeeyi essanyu mpulira ly'amaanyi nnyo kuba ngenda kweyagala muzeeyi. Era ngenda kwongera mu bizinensi yange muzeeyi gino emitwalo 10 gy'ompadde. Muzeeyi n'okwongera okunyweza akatale muzeeyi tusaba otuyambe otuzimbire katale kaffe okwasanyizaako muzeeyi ndawula kuba yali muto okukwasaganyizaako muzeeyi.
Nebaza muzeeyi Museveni jjajja waffe era ndi musanyufu nnyo ku lwa ssente zino zituweereddwa kubanga baatuwandiika ku ssente zino nga batugamba ssente z'emyoga. Era nebaza Mukama ati nzifunye kubanga baali bansuubi nali mmanyi nagwamu ssuubi nga mmanyi sigenda zifuna naye nebaza Katonda ati nzifunye era ngenda kwongera mu kapito wange kati ndi musanyufu nnyo era nyongera kuwa obuwagizi eri muzeeyi ti ayongere okugenda mu maaso kubanga kati tutaze okuddamu essuubi tutaze okulaba amazima era ndi musanyufu. Ebizibu ebiri mu katale twetaaga ekifo ekigazi kati abamu tukolera mu bifo mu musana akatale kade kagenda maaso nakuzimbibwa katale katono nnyo akazimbibwa ate efe abamu tukolera mu musana omusana gutwokya ate awantu wafunda twetaaga kugaziwa ekifo kino kibeere nga kigaziwa akatale kanyume bwe buzibu nze bwendaba buli mu katale tekafunda ate ekifo tekiri permanent nnyo okusinziira ku.
Now, the State Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Esther Divinia Anyekun, has commended the Uganda Red Cross Society for improving access to wash and menstrual hygiene in Bidi, Yumbe hosting communities. The minister made these remarks during the launch of water, hygiene and sanitation components in West Nile.
In the aftermath of the conflict that engulfed South Sudan, a number of refugees sought safety and refuge in West Nile. The protracted refugee influx prompted Uganda Red Cross Society to initiate a transformative project focusing on improving living conditions of refugees and host communities. Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Esther Anyekun, congratulated the Uganda Red Cross Society upon this new development.
We are happy that both the local population, the refugees, are beneficiaries of the wash services are done by Uganda Red Cross with the support from the Austrian Red Cross and also the Australian Development Agency.
Anyekun also thanked the Uganda Red Cross Society for improving access to water hygiene and sanitation, menstrual hygiene in Bidi, Ivempi refugee settlements and Yumbe hosting communities.
Hygiene and sanitation. It's a very strong component of health and touches the lives of the people, especially the refugees and the host communities. I want to thank the leadership of the Uganda Red Cross for bringing all of us here today to witness the tremendous work done in this part of the
37 girls' washrooms in various schools, 3 solarized boreholes, Uganda Red Cross Society Yumbe branch office, conference facility, among others, were commissioned by the minister. Minister Anyekun promised government's commitment to supporting and ensuring that the Uganda Red Cross Society fulfills its mandate.
Uganda is proudly so proud of Uganda Red Cross works being done here in saving lives, serving humanity, and most importantly, the work done in refugee settlement. We have worked a journey with the Uganda Red Cross as the Office of the Prime Minister.
Parliament to talk about this. If possible, Parliament and OPM should be able to give a bigger percentage, if not all, of the disaster prepared funds to Red Cross.
On his part, Uganda Red Cross Society Secretary General Robert Kwesiga emphasized the Uganda Red Cross Society's commitment of delivering quality and sustainable humanitarian assistance.
We are talking of, I think, the whole, only last year, with our partner, the Australian Red Cross, this investment was coming to over 4 billion. And most of it here in Yumbe. Now, the reason we bring them here, it is not a story of reading a report. It is the reality of showing what we are doing.
The resilience of those affected and the strategic efforts of the Uganda Red Cross Society, supported by the Austrian Development Agency, marks a turning point on the ongoing humanitarian challenges.
Now, experts have expressed worry over the rapid rate of urbanization, saying 61% of the world's population will live in urban areas by 2030, which a predicament will come with housing deficit. And that is congestion and increased slums within the city, including Kampala.
It's estimated that 61% of the world's population will live in urban areas by 2030, including in Uganda. This rapid urbanization will come with its associated effects like congestion, poor waste management, and increase in slum areas due to lack of decent and affordable housing.
And as a country, we are faced with a big number of movement of people from the rural areas to the urban areas. It is the highest percentage at 5.8% in the whole world. The average global is 1.8, but Uganda's average is 5.8. So these numbers that are coming to the city, we've been engaging with all the stakeholders in this joint review meeting to look at how we provide for them. They are not only coming to sleep. When they come, they are looking for opportunities, employment opportunities in institutions that are in cities.
It's also estimated that urban centers in Uganda have already 7 million housing deficit that puts the life of dwellers at risk since they live in unsafe houses.
The second challenge that we have is the issue of housing deficit. The housing deficit simply means that there are not enough housing units to accommodate our people in urban areas.
To adequately prepare for the challenge of rapid urbanization, experts have urged the government to start investing in decent and cheap planned housing units through affordable loans and private partnerships.
Is to ensure that we capitalize the National Housing Construction Company, which is a construction arm of government, to ensure that they can provide low-cost housing for the population, but also recapitalizing the Housing Finance Bank so that we can have significant reduction in the mortgage rates.
Present at the joint review meeting on sustainable urbanization and housing program in Kampala was the State Minister for Lands and Housing, Obiga Kania, who acknowledges the challenge but blames it on gross underfunding to his ministry.
In addition, Uganda has established 11 new cities and more municipalities. And for the urbanization infrastructure to be competitive, these cities require robust policies, regulation framework, and adequate financing to meet the international standards and opportunities. Yet, the implementation of these policies has become difficult because of the gross underfunding in this program.
The Minister for Local Government, Raphael Magezi, who represented the Prime Minister, Robin Anabanja, pledged to lobby for more funds on top of available government programs to ensure people live in decent houses and cities.
Uganda's increasing urban population and urbanization, it is anticipated that Uganda will be among the most urbanized countries in Africa by 2050. The NRM government, through its manifesto, committed to undertake the following measures to improve urban housing. 1. Enhance wealth and job creation programs, sustainably raise citizens' income levels to enable them to afford decent housing. 2. Provide essential public services, including clean water, sanitation, healthcare and education, to informal settlements in Kampala's slum areas. These services will also be provided to informal settlements in other cities and municipalities.
Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Thank you very much there, Philip Aguta. Now, turn-up of learners in various government schools in Luweero district is still very low 5 days since school opened for first term 2024. UBC visited various schools in the district, including the Ndabira-Koddala COU Primary School, where out of 75 learners in P3, only 4 pupils have returned.
Now 5 days since schools across the country opened for first term 2024. However, the turn-up of learners is still very low, worrying leaders and educationists. In various schools, especially those under government's program of universal primary education, UPE in Bamunanika, Luweero district, it was discovered that the low turn-up is as a result of the weakness of parents and teacher absenteeism. At Ndabira-Koddala Church of Uganda Primary School in Bamunanika, the class teacher of P3 told us that out of 75 pupils supposed to be in class, only 4 have returned. It was also discovered that the head teacher, Nakato Christine, has never been at school, hence annoying officials from the office of the national chairman. This was realized during a visit of the Office of the National Chairman, a regional coordinator Luweero, accompanied by other officials who inspected government schools and health centers in Bamunanika County in Luweero district. The ONC regional coordinator Luweero, Abdul Karim Owaswa, cautioned teachers against sabotaging government programs, especially in schools.
Nga bamusayiningira yasayininga abera namba emu asayininga mu maaso advance yena akola ebibye.
Relatedly, the ONC officials visited Sekamuli Health Center 3 in Bamunanika, where the in-charge Dr. Mpaji commended government for sending drugs on time.
Now, school owners have urged government to exercise caution in issuing licenses for schools in close proximity to one another within the same area. This arises from concerns regarding frequent incidents of dormitory and property fires, often sparked by minor disagreements.
The prevalence of school fires, particularly in areas characterized by intense competition among educational institutions, has raised alarms.
It is not about the opening of the schools, it's about the regulations that govern opening up a school. Because no school is meant to open without a license to operate. Initially they give you a permission to operate, they give you a working license, they register you as a school. That is the final step of registration from the Ministry of Education or local government for nursery schools. But it is now the mandate of government to ensure that we don't create disorder or we don't create enmity or we don't create disorganization within communities with the licensure of schools. I think it is a mandate of them to say there's a school here, then you can't open here, because this is what is getting us into trouble.
During a recent inspection of private schools, Maria Sebufu, the executive director of Uganda School Owners Association, emphasized the need for stringent standards.
First of all, we want to advise the parent. The responsibility is on them to ensure that where they take their child for learning is a safe and competent place for the child to learn.
Educationists called for prioritization of holistic education to nurture well-rounded individuals capable of contributing meaningfully to society.
Besides the classroom activities, we also have other activities that are done outside classroom and they boost the academic part. Therefore, we have introduced those other clubs. We have the soccer club. It helps to sharpen the brain. A child will come back to class to learn when has got that time of resting and will capture whatever a teacher is going to teach.
The programs have been set. We have a lot lined up for this term, especially to do with skilling program. We have a good program that they are going to be undertaking.
A focus on imparting life skills to students, aiming to equip them for success in society, was emphasized.
Hands-on tasks. We incorporated the new curriculum to the old system. Our children can now have lessons in computer. We have computer studies. We do metal fabrication, carpentry, pottery. We do a lot to incorporate the old curriculum in the new curriculum.
So we have practical skills, but we're also bringing on board the sports activities like sustainable sports.
And that does bring us to the end of our first segment. We're going to take a short break and return with our business stories.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Have you packed more with Harbour jelly and Harbour foam? Yes, we packed. It will protect your skin from skin rashes. Movit pack. It is a new improved Movit Harbour jelly. So soft and smooth. It is a Movit Harbour jelly.
Tell me, kids, the sense. Any irritations? No more rashes and irritations. Movit Harbour Jelly and Harbour Soap is rich in natural herbs for a smooth and glowing skin.
Movit, all their confidence.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala, comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Get ready for the sizzling Power City and get back to school edition. Prep your child for school and win big. Just shop for their school essentials, download the Power City and get app on your phone and submit your e-receipt fiscal document number. There you have it. A brand new refrigerator, a shopping spree, the newest electronic devices, or even a fantasy family vacation may be yours for the taking. With each electronic receipt you submit, you get closer to the prize. To enter and win, your e-receipt must have a fiscal document number, a QR code, and a verification code. Shopping becomes an exciting adventure with URA. Wangula name pa e-receipt.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Metu Bus Industries, Namamve, the manufacturers of buses for transporters, schools, tour operators, and special purpose vans and any customized vehicle. Metu Bus Industries offers a range of buses known for safety, comfort, and reliability. Depending on your needs, a bus can simply be a point A to point B people mover with just seats, or a special design that includes power outlet, Wi-Fi, television, refreshment center, and any other specification. Buy your buses from Metu and support industrialization of Uganda. Contact us on 0788 118586 or 0782 030303. Email us metuafricabus@gmail.com. Visit our website www.metubusafrica.com.
Hi Fifi, how are you?
I'm fine. Baby, whenever I eat chips and chicken, I feel stomachache, joint pain and body weakness.
My dear, go to MX Nutrition Center and learn the best food for your body. And get treatment according to your blood group.
Are you sure?
Yes.
By the way, do you know your blood group, genotype, and how much you need to exercise? Come to Timex Nutrition Center for professional advice on how to manage your health and immune boosting. At Timex, we treat diseases like diabetes, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, pressure, and many more. For details, find us at our headquarters in Kampala on Nasa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor. We also have a branch in Mbarara, or call us on 0758 819952 or 0778 288361. Timex, be your own doctor.
Hi, my name is Dennis Masindo Nyango, former Uganda Cranes captain and goalkeeper. My kind of a tank at home is a Crest tank. I use it at the farm and at home. I recommend it for everyone.
Welcome to the business desk as we start off with the coffee industry. Coffee seedling farmers under the umbrella body of Devoted Coffee Farmers Initiative Uganda have threatened to seek legal redress if their areas for seedling supply are not paid by the end of this quarter. The 49 billion shillings amount in areas that government owes them was accumulated from supply of coffee seedlings to farmers since 2017 following a request by government.
Marching to Parliament with placards are a group of coffee seedling farmers showing their dissatisfaction over delayed payment of their funds by Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Over 1,000 coffee nursery bed operators across the country are in arrears of supply of their coffee seedlings to farmers, amounting to 49 billion shillings, following a request by government.
We have certificates, we have call-off orders
These are the guidelines and the documents which are giving us authority to supply coffee. We supply this coffee in a legal way. It is not illegal.
The money in question that government owes them through Uganda Coffee Development Authority accumulated through supply of coffee seedlings between the years 2017 to 2023. In a letter dated 8th February 2024, addressed to the Speaker of Parliament, coffee seedling farmers highlighted salient challenges they have faced due to delayed payment of their funds.
The coffees we supplied, we move in UCDA. These people are telling us our documents are nowhere to be seen in the UCDA. UCDA, we talked to UCDA. These people agreed. We agreed with them that after three months they are going to pay our money. But imagine now it is 3 years plus. People are even demanding arrears. They are not yet paid. So as if these people are playing games with us.
According to the Managing Director, Uganda Coffee Development Authority, Dr. Emmanuel Diamuremye, the situation resulted from delayed release of the money in question by the Minister of Finance. He says the money will be paid as and when they receive it in accordance to their contract.
But the issue has to be addressed to the Parliament and Minister of Finance. They are the ones who appropriate money and make it available through Minister of Finance to us.
Last year, the coffee seedling farmers petitioned Parliament twice over the same issue, and a promise was made by Minister of Finance. Susan Naong and Andrew Sebira reporting for UBC TV.
As we step back a little bit into the world of education, it has been brought to the attention of government that the increasing number of students rushing for vocational studies is as a result of the high rate of dropouts from the mainstream education centers, they being primary and secondary. However, this is not by choice or will, as we hear more in this report.
The Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Bayumusi, has graced the 6th graduation ceremony of Rutenga Vocational Training Institute in Kanongo District.
We thank our Minister for restoring our school, Rutenga Parents Primary School, which was in the quarrels. Our parents were scared, but you made it, and now our school is in a good situation. However, we have some things which we need to improve on our academic performance, like computers, textbooks, electricity, and others, because all of them were stolen during the time when our school was in the quarrels.
Located in Rutenga sub-county and at a journey of 13 years of hands-on training, the over 50 students cohort has received certificates.
By the powers entrusted to me, I congratulate all those whose names have been read upon attaining the Uganda Community Polytechnic certificate.
With this certificate to help me to go to higher.
The idea of this institute was to try to help our youth get some skills.
This institute is specializing in offering practical skills in the field of tailoring, electrical engineering, hairdressing, welding, construction, among others.
Oftentimes, people have disregarded technical education, but in the present Uganda, in the present globe, technical education is the only way to go.
We are bringing on board business subjects because these are also important, because, you know, much as we are doing technical education, we have to sell our produce, for example.
However, according to local communities, the highest number of enrollment is mainly dropouts from mainstream or formal education setting, which is setting a bad precedent.
There is that mindset of thinking that maybe people go for skills and work. Those are people who are dropouts, those who are people who are not intelligent. But in fact, it's not true.
It doesn't mean that you have to fail in the class for you to go for technical and vocational education. No. You choose. It's a choice. You can't choose to go the academic ladder or to go technical.
And this is partly being blamed on the financial instability and less awareness among communities.
Therefore, we encourage our young people to take up these skilling programs, like the many young people who have got their certificates here at Rutenga Vocational Training Institute. and we do congratulate them.
Minister Bayumusi also toured St. Augustine Rutenga Catholic Parish, which is currently under facelift.
And the renovations are going on and constructions. For the meantime, we have finished the terrazzo stage, and they are now at the finishing of the terrazzo. And we are trying to make up the compound also to look smarter.
The church is among the many whose helping hand of Dr. Christopher Yumus has touched.
I really thank the minister so much. He has done a lot to put on this terrazzo. It's his big contribution when we had the fundraising and even on the construction of the perimeter wall for the residence of the priests.
And it's a parish we've been supporting. The last time I was here, I supported them to put terrazzo on the floor, and I'm happy that progress is being made and there is value for money.
The minister ended the Friday constituency visit from Kankonde Catholic Church in Rutenga Sub-County. Roberto Nyango, UBC News.
As we step into the world of international news, the West will never succeed in inflicting a strategic defeat on Russia in Ukraine. The Russian president has warned. Vladimir Putin told former Fox News host Tucker Carlson that Washington should recognize Moscow's interests and persuade Ukraine to sit down for talks. Thursday night's interview is the first time Putin has sat down with a West journalist since Russia embarked on a special operation in Ukraine. That was 2022.
Will there be talks, and why haven't there been talks about resolving the conflict in Ukraine, peace talks?
Они были, они дошли до очень высокой стадии согласования позиций.
They have been. They reached a very high stage of coordination of positions in a complex process, but still they were almost finalized. But after we withdrew our troops from Kiev, as I have already said, the other side threw away all these agreements and obeyed the instructions of Western countries, European countries, and the United States to fight Russia to the bitter end. Moreover, the president of Ukraine has legislated a ban on negotiating with Russia. He signed a decree forbidding everyone to negotiate with Russia. But how are we going to negotiate if he forbade himself and everyone to do this? We know that he is putting forward some ideas about this settlement, but in order to agree on something, we need to have a dialogue. Is that not right?
Well, but you wouldn't be speaking to the Ukrainian president, you'd be speaking to the American president. When was the last time you spoke to Joe Biden?
I cannot remember when I talked to him. I do not remember. We can look it up.
You don't remember?
No. Why? Do I have to remember everything? I have my own things to do. We have domestic political affairs.
Well, he's funding the war that you're fighting, so I would think that would be memorable.
Well, yes, he funds, but I talked to him before the special military operation, of course. And I said to him then, by the way, I will not go into details, I never do, but I said to him then, I believe that you are making a huge mistake of historic proportions by supporting everything that is happening there, in Ukraine, by pushing Russia away. I told him repeatedly, by the way. I think that would be correct if I stop here.
What did he say?
Ask him, please. It is easier for you. You are a citizen of the United States. Go and ask him. It is not appropriate for me to comment on our conversation.
But you haven't spoken to him since before February of 2022?
No, we haven't spoken. Certain contacts are being maintained, though. Speaking of which, do you remember what I told you about my proposal to work together on a missile defense system?
Yes.
You can ask all of them. All of them are safe and sound, thank God. The former president, Condoleezza, is safe and sound, and I think Mr. Gates and the current director of the intelligence agency, Mr. Burns, the then ambassador to Russia, in my opinion, are very successful ambassador. They were all witnesses to these conversations. Ask them. Same here. If you are interested in what Mr. President Biden responded to me, ask him.
Ebiseera by'okuzzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripisi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyezi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda.
The energy of this land comes to life in dreams and memories. It lights up in these nights and leads us towards new horizons. It was born in the hearts of these men, of these women. The energy of this land comes from here. It comes from Africa, and it vibrates in each of us.
Empowered by Africa.
Oryx service stations, powered by Africa.
The only water that can quench my thirst. Aquafina, we are good, good. Aquafina, hydration that is good, good. With essential and good. 10 over 10 water bottle. Aquafina is my drinking water, my love.
In the production process of Aquafina, we expertly filter every drop, providing clear and perfect tasting water to help you keep hydrated with the added benefit of minerals. Aquafina is bottled by Pepsi Cola International in Uganda and is available at only 1,000 shillings.
Thank you. Hello, Eric. Come and see my new home.
Are you looking for the best quality paint for your dream home? Be part of the new revolution with our Global Paint Silk Vinyl that gives you beautiful, shining interior walls, as WeatherCoat gives you never fading and strongly guarded walls against bad weather conditions. Located along Namavi Industrial Park, Global Paints, a reliable product.
And in the world of sports, they continue the preparations for their maiden T20 World Cup preparedness. Later this year, the cricket Cranes team has yet again flown out of the country to Sri Lanka for another training tour to test and hone their skills against seasoned players. This trip comes just 11 days after their India training tour.
The India training tour that had 20 games for the team, with the Cranes losing 7 and winning 2, was a good start and good game time for the players, as the interim coach Jackson Ogwang states.
Of course, we're now going to India. It's a tough place, but whatever we picked up from there was the most important thing. I think when you go to India, every team you play is a tough team, and what you do is learn more from the experience. So it was about learning, playing a different opposition, playing under different conditions. And again, we faced different bowlers who move the ball around and spinners who turn the ball square. And we picked up valuable lessons from the tour.
The players also feel the tour tested their skill and game awareness.
It's just good for us to sharpen our skills, the batting skills mostly, and the bowling. There were coaches there that were helping us with the skills, sharpening here and there. And for me, it was just basically keeping it simple, trying to read the conditions a bit early and then adjusting to that. Yeah, with the bat and the ball.
So for us, it was about overcoming that mental challenge as a team, and just going there and playing good opposition, and giving guys a chance to put their hands up for the team. There were a lot of new faces. So, it was a good challenge.
Now, 11 days after the India tour, the team is heading out again for another training tour in Sri Lanka. The 14-day tour will see the team play 7 T20 games against select sides. The tour starts on Saturday 10th February and ends on Friday 23rd February 2024.
We want to go and improve on that in Sri Lanka. We are also going to test ourselves against different opposition, different bowlers in Sri Lanka, and we want to come out on top, also especially with the bat, playing in a test playing country with different and good spinners will be a big test for our players.
Sri Lanka is going to be just as tough as India. From what I hear, the teams that have been prepared for us are quite experienced, lots of first-class players. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, for me as a captain, this is the kind of games you want to play preparing for World Cup. You want to play against guys that have been there, that have seen it and done it.
The training tours are part of the Cricket Cranes' preparation for their inaugural appearance at the 2024 Men's T20 World Cup in USA and West Indies in June this year. The Cricket Cranes qualified for the 2024 Men's T20 World Cup in November 2023 after coming second in the Africa World Cup qualifiers. Grace Joyce Kemigisa, UBC News.
And that brings us to the end of News Tonight at 8. I hope to meet you again at 10 o'clock, same time, same place. I'm Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Stay tuned.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. This week on UBC.
It's the freak himself, DJ Santos, the problem. Oh my God!
So run back to the studio, Chimney Records.
From the blues to the streets of Africa, DJ Santos. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at DJ Santos.
Can you play that song? Set the mood for me. Hallelujah, let's go!
Inspiring Uganda.
Program My School, a great students program and your answer to education perspective, giving you reason as to why you should pay school fees for a child's education with items like student talents, thoughts, adventures and skill showcased, leadership skills and all other activities plus concerns in various schools in your locations. Remember that our children are our future generation. Don't miss Program My School.
Did you know that our number one value as a nation is to respect and protect the environment? With the current population increase of Uganda and industrialization, this has increased pressure on the natural resources, resulting into environmental degradation and global warming. Developing countries like Uganda could face 80% of the global climate change effects by the year 2030 if no action is taken. Join us here on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda, on our Eco Plus program, where we bring you an in-depth analysis of issues that are disastrous to our environment. Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. only on your loved station, the National Broadcaster.
UBC, Inspiring Uganda.
Electric car maker Tesla got off to a lightning start and quickly pulled ahead of the classic car brands.
The big automotive companies that exist today are either going to have to change dramatically or die.
This is the man who did it, Elon Musk, a star in the Silicon Valley firmament.
Everyone.
He celebrated like a pop star. His story is one of David against the Goliaths of the car industry. But what is behind Tesla's success?
If you could look into a Tesla factory, which isn't that easy, you'd find there's an awful lot of German know-how.
And in Silicon Valley itself, we hear another story. Losses running into billions, chaos in production, and stressed out employees.
Your body kind of just gives up doing the exact same thing for 12 hours a night.
How long will Tesla's lead last? All the car makers are gearing up. Tesla's rivals in Germany are playing their cards close to their chests. How dangerous are they?
The shock is past and German companies are closing fast.
Kai Hermann has switched to Tesla. He drives 100% electric.
You get in the car, you close the door, and it's like you're in another world. You don't have any ambient noise anymore, you don't hear the engine. The car's very, very relaxing to drive.
And it's also good for the environment.
I used to drive a diesel because I cover a lot of kilometers. But you just have to stand behind a car like that and use your nose. And then you know that it can't be good.
Tesla's clean image gleams, but it costs money. More than 70,000 euros for the economy version of the S model, with autopilot, of course.
I don't have to worry so much about the little things anymore. Slowing down, keeping my distance, accelerating again. The car does it all by itself.
It's more of a driving assistant. Autopilot would steer the car itself. There have been some spectacular accidents, and even Tesla has issued warnings.
You've still got to pay attention to the road. What it can't do is exit the motorway or things like that.
Kai Hermann drives emission-free through his hometown of Lauf an der Pegnitz. He overlooks occasional defects, the non-operational autopilot camera, the jammed exterior mirror, or the internet browser.
You can see it up here. Normally, this advertising should run through here, but it's not working.
You can find a lot of complaints about Tesla's defects on the internet, but just as much support as well.
No matter whether it's a mobile phone or a television or something like that, you already assume it won't function 100%, that some of the smaller things won't work.
Making mistakes and making improvements, that's Tesla's principle. The latest updates to its software are always available. Until now, the Achilles heel of all e-cars has been the frequent need to stop and recharge. Tesla promises long-range driving. The Hermann family is packing for a summer holiday.
That's not enough T-shirts. You'll have to take some more. As always, I've got too much. I'll have another look in a minute.
The Hermanns are off to Italy, 4 people and a dog. 1,000 kilometers, all electric. How are they going to manage that? Tesla has made the e-car an object of desire. But does the battle of Tesla's David against the oil company's Goliath ring true? What goes on at the Tesla factory on the edge of Silicon Valley? For a year, we've been asking to visit and see the cars in production, but we've never had a reply. So we're going there anyway. Our camera on the sidewalk alerts security. They say no recordings or interviews and tell us to leave. Behind the factory, Tesla workers are camping in the parking lot. A remarkable picture by German standards.
Hello. May we talk to you? We're from German television.
Nobody wants to talk to us here either. Then we get lucky.
Let's take a bath and blow a bubble or two.
Zachary Hodges worked at Tesla until he couldn't take the strain anymore.
How kind. That's a cat.
He didn't want to put himself and his family's future at risk any longer.
He is probably the reason why I decided to leave Tesla. So he was growing. His mom got pregnant right around the time I got hurt.
At first, Zachary was totally enthusiastic about the Tesla story and eagerly joined in. The company video shows the production line in the best light, but he remembers the factory differently.
The factory is huge, though, from one side to the other. Everything here looks a lot brighter. It definitely looks cleaner than I remember it. Actually showed the robot I worked on every single day. That's the cleaner part. Right before that's the dirtiest section that, not surprised they weren't showing that on there. The amount of hours that we had to work is essentially 12-hour days every single day. Most of the time it was 7 days a week or 6 days a week. Usually worked on Saturdays. Sometimes I think the max was like 40-some days straight. There's definitely more humans involved than they are showing here.
At some point, his body could no longer withstand the constant strain.
Repetitive work injuries is probably the most common thing. Your body kind of just gives up doing the exact same thing for 12 hours a night.
The Health and Safety Authority has also recorded a whole series of accidents at Tesla.
The robotic arms can't reach everything, so we have to manually drill holes in, and then pop rivets in, and so the drill bits very sharp. They die out in about 2 cars, so probably about a couple of minutes. So I was 12 hours a night, putting my entire body weight to drill holes into the car. I think it was like 21 holes, and you had to pop in. And then actually, I think I was just wiping a car down with a cloth, and then my arm gave out and my back gave out.
For months, he was unable to work, and even now he still needs physiotherapy. How does that fit in with Tesla's own glossy story? Elon Musk, Mr. Tesla. He stands in the limelight and sells the story of squeaky clean Tesla, putting the old car industry on notice.
Everyone.
He knows how to present himself, but he still refuses an interview.
Elon! Right here! Come on! Elon!
He has a huge fan base. Is it justified? We tracked down an old friend of his.
I'm going to send my girlfriend a photo.
Today, Adio Ressi heads the Founder Institute, a business incubator for high-tech companies. He's known Elon since his student days.
I've known Elon Musk for 25 years, arguably one of his best friends. We actually started a nightclub in our college house at the University of Pennsylvania. And we used the proceeds from the nightclub to cover our living expenses.
High-tech, an entrepreneurial spirit, and a desire to make a profit. All this falls on fertile ground here.
Here we're going to Sand Hill Road. Most of the venture capital inside of America is situated on Sand Hill Road.
Most startups fail, but if they succeed, it's mainly here in Palo Alto in Silicon Valley.
So you'll see this sort of small, quaint little town, and it's probably responsible for the vast majority of innovation created around the world today. Google was started in a building just like that, except right up ahead. PayPal was started in another one of these buildings.
PayPal is the internet's financial giant, a startup by young entrepreneurs. Elon Musk was one of the co-founders. Musk and his colleagues sold it to eBay for $1.5 billion. Tesla was originally also a startup, set up by electric car enthusiasts. Here on the first floor is the cradle of the company. Elon Musk brought millions from the PayPal sale and quickly took over the helm from founder Martin Eberhard. How did Musk manage to overtake the old car companies with a startup? Stuttgart-based innovation consultant Oliver Greiner has a surprising answer. Tesla was significantly faster than the German car industry in developing a battery car, but it still used their help. He shows us what's in a Tesla.
The wheel sensor and brake management systems are made by Bosch. The entire air suspension comes from Continental. The steering gears are from ZF Friedrichshafen, today known as Robert Bosch Automotive, and the door handles were developed with the company Brose Coburg. Inside, controls come from Daimler and the sound system from a young Swabian company. Around 40 suppliers have been involved, including German suppliers for rear view and cosmetic mirrors.
Previously, Daimler generously supported the newcomer with capital and German know-how. It turns out Tesla's successful model strategy isn't original either.
Interestingly, Tesla has adopted the classic automobile manufacturer's strategy. First of all, start with premium technology in the higher vehicle classes, and only then gradually transfer it to other vehicle classes. In principle, Tesla has done what the Germans have been doing very successfully for a very long time and translated that into electromobility.
In contrast, German car makers had switched their strategy for electric mobility, competing with small but expensive e-cars. Now, Mercedes and Audi have also introduced larger electric off-road vehicles. And Porsche is directly challenging Tesla's successful S model. a meeting in an underground car park in Barcelona. The new electric Porsche, the Taycan, is intended to overtake the Tesla. The team? Test engineers from Stuttgart. Their mission? Readiness for series production, but as inconspicuously as possible. The car's design is top secret, inside and out. Chief engineer Robert Meyer always keeps an eye on the competition. Secretly, all the car makers are feverishly working on electric cars. The competition for the future of the e-car is in full swing.
We don't want to talk a lot about the styling of the vehicle's interior yet, so we won't show our competitors our new ideas too early.
But just a few minutes later, the electric Porsche's cover is blown. The police pull it over while it's still in town. Other drivers also take photos of the newcomer. The Tesla Challenger is already on the radar. But for Porsche, road testing is a must. The electric Taycan should work in all situations, even in the heat here. That test is especially important for the batteries.
Everyone knows that a laptop simply loses runtime and capacity after a certain time. This is because its batteries more frequently operate in either very high or very low temperature ranges, because they're not actively cooled and heated.
It's the same with the electric car. Batteries that get too cold or too hot break down faster and have less power. And performance is Porsche's top priority.
You can accelerate the vehicle from 0 to 100 10 times in a row with the value we specify, and that will be a very good value. You can accelerate from 0 to 200 4 times in a row without any loss of power at any point.
The engineers at Porsche are sure they can surpass the Tesla. And they also want to beat the Americans in terms of quality. But they aren't there yet.
We've just had a startup problem with one of our 5 vehicles, and our colleagues are now resetting it. There's an established procedure for this, which we must now carry out. It'll only take a moment, then the car will be ready again.
Car 5's running. We're coming.
Good, it's working.
We're leaving the car park and turning right.
So now the test can continue.
The fault was actually a stroke of luck for the Swabian engineers because they want to find the faults before the customers do. Unlike other brands that use a combustion engine body with an electric motor, Porsche has a new approach with an extra low position for the battery.
You can see it very clearly when you drive into the curve. The low center of gravity makes the vehicle even more stable. And you drive around bends like on tracks.
This, combined with the acceleration typical of electric motors, could probably leave most gas guzzlers behind. But the engineers still have countless curves, hundreds of thousands of kilometers, and every imaginable test situation ahead of them. In less than a year, they want to beat Tesla in the sales room too, even though the Porsche is likely to cost around 20,000 euros more. Back in California, Adil Ressi doesn't believe that the established European car makers will have it so easy against Tesla. Not with his friend Elon Musk at the top.
Elon Musk in particular is very successful because he's a strong engineer, probably one of the strongest engineers that have ever lived. And in addition to that, he's very determined. It's self-balancing.
Wackiness is the key to success here. Only if something is completely new, almost revolutionary, can it leave the established companies in the dust. As with PayPal and Tesla, they have also shown this with another project that they started together.
Elon and I started working on space together in approximately 2000, and we worked on a company called Life to Mars for 1 year, where we were trying to develop a mission to Mars.
That's how Elon Musk's other big company, SpaceX, came to be. It's a private spaceflight company, something that was once almost inconceivable and even less affordable.
Well, SpaceX, he took a small fortune and turned it into a large fortune, so he inverted the paradigm.
SpaceX now regularly shoots satellites into space. The tests are also good advertising for Tesla. To cut costs, Musk recovers the missiles, which is new, but his vision goes much further.
We need to be a multiplanetary species. It is our manifest destiny at this point to have a sustainable, ongoing colony or civilization off planet. And then if you look at the planets in our solar system, there is literally one that makes sense, and that's Mars.
But Musk has great plans on Earth, too. The Hyperloop is a high-speed traffic network of tubes based on the same principle as the pneumatic tube. In this case, the pods will be self-powered. Musk has already had students from all over the world working on them, most from Germany. There is a lot of activity here at Munich Technical University's prototype workshop. Dozens of students are competing against 20 top universities from all over the world. The team that comes up with a Hyperloop the fastest wins.
How much we're learning here? It's indescribable, incomparable, totally unlike a semester in a lecture hall.
The Munich students have already won one of Elon Musk's competitions twice, but he wants to up the pace and calls on them to compete again and again.
Yes, I think he's very smart. He did very well with the Hyperloop because he didn't have enough time in the beginning, so he had the idea to get different students and people working on it without pay.
They're packing for the contest in California. The competition of the top universities has begun. The students from Munich are working under high pressure, making the final preparations on their module in the testing tube. Musk gives a speech that fires them all up.
We've seen student teams come from here and create companies, and I think that's really what we want to try to encourage. Is like try different ideas, create new organizations, try to make the future a really interesting place.
The race itself will barely last 10 seconds, but will give a verdict on months of hard work. They follow the journey in the tube through a camera in the capsule. "467 kilometers per hour, a new record. Munich has won." German know-how for Elon Musk, and a handshake from the billionaire as a thank you.
He was there with the children and watched with us, cheered with us. That was actually quite spontaneous.
The budding engineers admire the idiosyncratic company boss and imitate his way of working.
Our deadlines are very difficult to meet, and we rarely do meet them. We tend to finish later. But this way of working forces virtually everyone to work at full tilt, always doing as much as possible. This is a good example. In the week before shipping, the two electronics guys who programmed the whole control system slept 8 hours in 5 days.
Barely achievable goals and constant pressure. Is that the Musk system?
stretch the entire thing out.
Zachary Hodges has experienced the permanent stress in the Tesla factory. He got sick and feels abandoned.
Yeah, they're blaming us for getting hurt, knowing that they basically work us until we're almost dead every single day, and then blame it on us. It was a victimization that it didn't sit right with me. It was a kind of a terrible feeling to feel that way.
He's unwilling to believe the glowing Tesla story anymore, even though Tesla says it took note of the situation and changed the workflow.
You know, when you first get in there, they treat you, you get all excited that you're part of something. And then you see how expendable you are as the factory worker when you get hurt.
Zachary's left Tesla, and he's not the only one. In a small village in the Allgäu region of southern Bavaria, we meet a man who dedicated himself to Elon Musk body and soul. Philipp Schröder was the manager of Tesla in Germany.
If
the phone rang and you knew it was his number, you sometimes got a bit nervous. Above all, the allotted times were always very, very short, and there was always a lot of pressure.
Says the manager, who's a self-confessed workaholic. He commutes between locations worldwide and manages an eco-power company without a fixed desk. Well, why not?
If you ask my fiancée, she'll say I'm always working, as long as my head's still attached and I'm not sleeping. The issue is always how you define it. I'd say that in a busy week with a lot of traveling, I work 90 hours, but otherwise, I'm between 70 and 80.
At Tesla, he worked hard and learned a lot, especially how important a good story is, not just the product.
The vision to say I'm attacking the automotive industry, where it's very hard to gain a foothold, to improve the world and to prove that it works. With all my capital, I could still go bankrupt. Elon could go bust. I believe it really awakens remarkable sympathy among customers when someone really thinks ahead, takes risks, and then goes their own way.
Schröder also drives a Tesla as a company car in his new company. The secret of Tesla's success in Germany is quite clear to him. The Tesla fast charging stations on the edge of the motorways called Supercharger, which he helped to set up all over the country.
Without the superchargers, we wouldn't have sold a single car in Germany. This is because Germany is a nation of automobiles, and people like to drive long distances very quickly. And the high speeds on the motorway mean consumption is higher.
That's how he beat the German car makers. All set for the holidays. The Hermanns are off to Italy. When they bought their Tesla, the supercharger network convinced them. "1,000 kilometers under purely electric power with a camera on the roof." They have the smaller battery, which has a range of about 400 kilometers, so they actually only have to recharge twice. But the Hermanns want to recharge in 5 shorter stops, as Tesla recommends. That's about half an hour of forced break each time, including at the Brenner Pass. Tanja Hermann isn't bothered.
You get used to it really quickly, even the breaks. You sit and you aren't getting any younger, so it's quite good if you can stretch your legs every now and then. I actually think it's good.
In particular, the Hermanns want to drive clean. Thanks to hydropower, they are still a rarity here in the mountains because an e-mobile is only as clean as the electricity it's charging with.
Disaster. We made the mistake of driving on a Saturday, and that, of course, is a day when everybody's traveling. We left at 3 o'clock in the morning and thought we might have the worst behind us, but it was a disaster.
Stop and go, just stop and go.
The vehicle's long range calms their nerves. But the bigger the battery, the worse it is for the environment. A battery consumes a lot of electricity and reduces the climate advantage. so it could still take a long time until the electric car overtakes the combustion engine in any environmental comparison. It's obvious that something like this makes headlines, especially with Tesla. Another production problem.
An electric car battery today has materials that are mined in countries that sometimes have questionable environmental standards and occupational safety. Batteries contain cobalt, which mainly comes from the Congo. And we mustn't forget that, first, these countries are also tightening their standards due to pressure from the car industry. And second, these materials are being used less and less. Tesla assumes that today's batteries use only a third of the cobalt used in the batteries it originally developed.
The Hermanns are hoping for further improvements in environmental protection. They see their exhaust-free electric car as a step towards clean driving and want to be part of it. Even though with traffic jams and refueling stops, it took them 17 hours to cover the 1,000 kilometers, and they ended up pretty frazzled.
We were exhausted, but we were given a great welcome with dinner on the terrace. It was a bit cool that day, but it was very nice to be received by the family there.
After the stopover, they drive their Tesla sports car to the Riviera.
That was quite an adventure. We weren't even aware of it in advance. This house was sort of in the prairie, 20 to 25 minutes down a switchback. It was extremely narrow in places and partly unsealed, but somehow we got to the house.
The Tesla immediately grounded in the driveway, and my husband had to move some rocks out of the way.
It sits low for sure.
Electricity filling stations or even fast charging stations are thin on the ground here. But what else are the sockets in the house for?
You can't plug it in at the same time as the dishwasher, for example. For example, when the dishwasher starts up, it could blow the fuse. So being in Italy is still quite an adventure. But nothing was going on overnight anyway, so we plugged it in the evening and unplugged it the next morning. And then we had enough.
With no time pressure, it isn't a problem. In the end, they have a relaxed holiday with their e-car. Whereas at Tesla, summer 2018 is anything but relaxed. The new small Model 3 is supposed to conquer the mass market. Hundreds of thousands of customers have pre-ordered it. But production is running much slower than planned, and there are new problems in the factory all the time. Elon Musk puts on a brave face and turns the first delivery into his own show.
Over the next 6 to 9 months,
he jokes about the production problems.
And frankly, we're going to be in production hell. Welcome. Welcome to production hell.
Laughter from the fans. But Zachary Hodges actually went through Tesla's production hell. He describes one incident.
I remember one time we looked up and we're like, that car's not supposed to be doing that. And the robots got confused, and that was one of the times we had to ship the parts from Germany. We were out for quite a while because the two arms collided themselves in and smashed the two body parts together and ripped off one of the arms. So that was a crazy thing. Luckily, no one got hurt.
That's exactly what Tesla has been having so much trouble with over the past few months. Programming that level of automation, which assumes that hundreds of robots have to interact with each other, is no trivial matter.
The solution to many of these problems will apparently come from Grohmann, a global market leader in automation. Tesla also relies on made in Germany in car and battery production.
If you could look into a Tesla factory, which isn't that easy, you'd find there's an awful lot of German know-how involved. On the one hand, Tesla has recruited real specialists, partly from established car manufacturers. And on the other hand, Tesla has taken a very close look at which suppliers from Germany they can use.
The Americans bought up Grohmann straight away. After the takeover, the workforce in the region protested that wages were too low. With the help of the IG Metall union, they have got largely what they wanted, unlike in the United States.
During a meeting where Elon was there, one person had the courage to say, yeah, we're all doing great. Are we going to get a union soon? And Elon calmly said, you know, that's something that we definitely want to get later. You know, we still got to build. Right now is not the time. Broke it down money-wise, what would make sense. You know, he was very persuasive on that. The person who asked that question, we never saw again. I'm not saying, you know, he was immediately fired or it was because of that, but it was something that we felt from the people above us, let's not talk about.
Without trade unions, Musk can put more pressure on the workers in the factory in the USA.
We're going to do everything we possibly can to get you the car as soon as possible. So we're going to work day and night to do right by the loyalty that you've shown us.
In summer 2018, Elon Musk is hit with a perfect storm. Not only his customers, but also his shareholders are breathing down his neck. He says he takes sleeping pills, appears in a video podcast smoking a joint, and fires off irritating messages, threatening on Twitter to sell Tesla. The stock is on a roller coaster ride, and the Stock Exchange Supervisory Authority has to intervene. But by the fall, Tesla returns some surprisingly positive figures.
The company has been making losses for years, and no company can survive only making losses. The point comes when a company also makes a profit. There have been enough times in recent years when Tesla seemed to be on the verge of bankruptcy and would have to be sold off. It's remarkable, but that wasn't the case. Elon Musk himself made fun of the fact that the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Personally, I assume that this is what they have in mind for the future, simply because the technology is now there, the customer base is there, the vehicles are now available in the mass market. That means the company will also have the opportunity to make profits in the coming years, something that is sorely needed.
Back in Stuttgart, we can see that Tesla is running out of time. This is the new factory for the electric Porsche Taycan. For project manager Stefan Weckbach, setting up production is just as important as the development of the electric car.
They can develop the most beautiful thing in the world, but if they can't really produce at the necessary level of quality, it doesn't make sense.
With 100 years of experience in car manufacturing behind them, the traditional brands are now aiming to catch up and play to their advantages, not just in automation.
We have a team with decades of experience in sports car construction, and we will transfer this experience, this quality, to the Taycan.
The pre-series production of the electric Porsche is so far top secret. The project manager and his chief engineer meet here regularly. They also want to beat Tesla in production, not just on the road. They have solved many problems in the Taycan by now, but Chief Engineer Robert Meyer won't rest.
In the last phase, before the pure start of series production, we are to a large extent dealing with software optimization. The systems today are very strongly networked, so it's really important that we can analyze and optimize diagnostic or error memory issues. We managed to do that even from Spain.
But Tesla still has a head start. Its network of fast chargers. It took a long time for the German car industry to react. In the future, the new consortium Ionity is supposed to make recharging as fast and convenient as with the Tesla. The Germans may be late, but now they're faster.
This vehicle is going to be the first to travel on 800 volts. That will cut the charging time almost in half. I think it's the big game changer. The Taycan will be the first to use a charging capacity of almost 300 kilowatts.
Faster charging, faster driving, faster construction. Is this the key to success? But perhaps the duel between the German car manufacturers and Tesla won't really be decisive at all. A player of the next generation is already appearing on the car horizon. Byton, the abbreviation for Bytes on Wheels. We take an exclusive look into the workshop of the future. There's a lot of German know-how here too. Dirk Abendroth came from BMW. What's the difference to BMW?
We're in Silicon Valley, where you have to tackle issues right away and get things going, then work out the next steps. Sometimes spontaneous ideas, like fixing my cameras or trying out algorithms, are the most important things to do.
Dirk Abendroth is not the only one. Many in the Byton management team come from German car companies. The bosses with the biggest capital come from China. Here in Silicon Valley, they can take advantage of young talent and the high pace of development.
The really hot topics end up here on the table where 3 or 4 of us make the decisions. Not a big committee or senior executives. We simply bring together people who can contribute, so the decisions are made here, even sensitive topics.
They're completely rethinking the electric car.
What are you doing right now?
At the moment, we're looking at the instrumentalization, the different camera views that the vehicle makes available to the driver. It's about autonomous driving with lots of entertainment. So the front seats here can soon be turned to face backwards as well. One important concept that we're tackling at Byton is the lounge theme. I like to call this the moving living room. It's not just about driving dynamics. It's about developing a good sense of space. I don't drive a sports car. I actually drive a vehicle that allows me to feel comfortable. It's about perception, this whole issue of user experience. And I think what's clearly changing, even with traditional vehicles, is that driving alone is no longer the only point. Goran was previously with Tesla. For him, Byton is one step further in technology and in dealing with employees. I felt it was top-down management, although of course that could also have to do with the situation in many places. And I don't think that's something I miss at Byton. It's a good thing we don't have it. The Chinese donors want to develop the car as a mobile living room or an improved electronic games room. They come from the consumer electronics industry and want to move a lot of units made in China. Tesla is no longer a hunter here, but the hunted. Elon Musk's friend admits.
Tesla is an old company right now. The difference that a lot of its stuff is a little bit antiquated, but they are keeping abreast with trends.
Tesla is not the only solution for the Hermann family either. Tanya Hermann is looking for an electric replacement for her VW Golf station wagon. But the Tesla Model S is too big and too expensive for the city, and the new, smaller Model 3 does not convince the couple either.
So far, no decision about a new car has been made, because the Optimum that I envisage is not yet on the market.
They prefer to wait, because new, tempting offers are emerging.
It says the price, including battery, is between 16 and 20,000 euros. This is the sort of deal people will go for.
Whether new or established car brands, the e-mobile is becoming cheaper, better, and more versatile worldwide. The times when Tesla could just pull ahead of traditional car brands are over.
We have a very exciting race, and I'm curious how this neck-and-neck race will be judged in 4 or 5 years. I'm confident that by then, the Germans will be quite far ahead.
In the end, Elon Musk's Tesla will soon be just one of many.
Fred! Freddy! Fred! $100. My boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
An amazing off-the-hook youth program brings you an array of fun, exciting, and educative segments you do not want to miss. From red carpet moments to proms, youth empowerment programs to youth gig vibes, and so much more, Teens Crown will get you hooked. Only on UBC TV every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Don't miss.
The Property Line. Everything real estate, construction, class, and luxury.
Real estate, it's land and developments on land.
We are now, as a country, in an auto-drive mode with respect to real estate.
We have a deficit in housing of more than 2 million units.
For the real estate, when you have income, I want you to contribute something.
Don't miss The Property Line every Saturday 7:30 p.m. and Monday 11 a.m. only on UBC TV. Inspiring Uganda.